For decades now, society has worried about the effects technology will have on our children. The worries that too much screen time will rot children's brains, that video games will turn them violent, and now the more legitimate concerns about the dangers of social media on the mental health of children. Over the last decade, an increasing number of horror filmmakers have used the classic trope of the creepy kid or the killer doll to tell stories about the dangers that technology, and specifically AI, pose to the youth.
It's nice to meet you, Katie. Do you want to hang out? Okay.
Join me as we continue exploring the evolution of man-made monsters, and we discuss Lars Klevberg's Child's Play and Gerard Johnston's M3GAN. Welcome back to the evolution of horror. My name is Mike Muncer, and as ever, I am your host. In this podcast, we explore and dissect the history and the evolution of the horror genre, one subgenre at a time. We are currently in the middle of our 11th season exploring the evolution of man-made monsters, and this is part 32. In this week's episode, as that intro suggested, we're going to be looking at two killer doll movies from the last decade. Child's Play, that's the 2019 Child's Play, and of course, M3GAN from 2022. Both of these discussions will be spoilerific. Give them a watch before you listen to our conversation. So, joining me to discuss these two bangers, I've got a returning guest. He's been on this podcast literally since episode 1. Host of the Icelandic movie podcast, Kvik Mindapod, Rob Watts. Hello, Rob.
Hello, Mike.
Hello. It feels like it's been absolutely ages, Rob, since we talked horror movies together.
I think it has. I think there's been the space of a whole year.
Oh my God. What was the last thing we discussed together? It was one of the nature...
Was it nature?
Or was it even before that?
Was it Christmas? No, that was...
You're going way back. You're going way back. Yeah, I don't know. The last year's been a blur. You've been changing jobs and buying your first house, and you've been busy with all sorts, right?
Yeah, and you've had plenty to get on with 100 different podcasts.
I've also had quite a year. Yeah. I've also had quite a year, yeah, exactly. So there's been a lot going on. But
we're here. We're back.
We're back. It's lovely. Very and what a fun pair of films we get to talk about together as well.
Yes, so much fun.
Yes. Oh, I tell you what it was. Was it Jumanji and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? Was that the last time? Was
that the last thing? I mean, that was a great day.
Exactly, great day, exactly. So this series, obviously, we're talking about kind of mad science and that kind of thing. What are your thoughts generally on this subgenre, Rob?
Well, I mean, I think my favourite thing about it is how broad it is. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, if you even are just looking at the films you've covered,
yes,
it sort of ranges from sort of mad scientists creating like flesh and blood things to weapons to AI, which could also be a weapon, I guess. So I think that's what I love. The scope is so big.
Yeah.
Because, humans can create basically anything, certainly in fiction. So you can, I think it's great because you can explore bombs and dinosaurs and space.
I think this has been the kind of fun thing about it is that we've gone from really kind of quite ridiculous, quite light, frothy stuff, like Jurassic Park, for example, to Threads or movies about kind of the dangers of technology in that regard. And it kind of covers the whole gamut. And I feel like especially right now, there's something so timely about it, isn't there, about talking about the dangers of technology, whether it is AI or drones or nuclear weapons or whatever. It's tech looms large as a threat to us all.
That's it. It's just so relevant. I mean, I guess it is sort of always relevant, but you're right. Right now, the state of the world and the state of technology and how quickly things have suddenly just jumped on, it feels like now is a perfect time to be talking about it. And even with these films today where we're sort of, it is a bit lighter, I guess, but they do definitely relate to the dangers of modern society.
Yeah, they get at something real. I think that's what's been so good about this subgenre is that even when they are quite silly, fun, entertaining films like the ones we're about to talk about, even M3GAN is getting at something real, I think, right? That has become even more apparent since it was released sort of 4 years ago.
Mate, AI is just, it's just prevalent. It's ruining lives.
Well, kind of is, isn't it? What do you think of it? Do you use it a lot day to day? Do you use ChatGPT, that kind of thing?
Well, I guess I was reluctant 2 years ago, I was reluctant.
Yeah.
And then I've been spending my time looking for work.
Yeah.
And actually, and I could bore you for hours about this, but like the whole job hunt is AI driven.
Oh,
so,
God, yeah.
Even on a basic level, if you want to get a job interview, you basically need to use ChatGPT to craft your CV, craft your cover letter.
Wow.
Like I could spend whole days writing things out perfectly in my own voice, blah, blah, blah. But actually, all that is happening is on the other end, companies using AI to filter for keywords and things like that. So it's sort of mad that you have AI reading AI.
Jesus.
And actually, there's no humans there at all.
Yeah.
And it actually, but it's all about a human trying to get into a job. So
yeah.
I've been using it a lot, and it's weird. And I didn't want to use it, but I have. But
well, this is the thing, right? I mean, James made this point a couple of weeks ago that it's not in our interest not to learn how it works, right? It's like it's for the best that we understand it and that we learn it and that we use it and we get used to it in a way because it's like it's here now, right?
Completely, yeah. For whatever reason we use AI, it's better to be aware of it and to know how to use it than it is to just disregard it and let it just suddenly take over your job, your life, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And you know, we're all in the creative sector, and I think our area is where it's mostly being used at the moment,
which is nuts, isn't it? Of all the industries that could benefit from AI, it's like really the creative industry is that's the one you're going for. Okay,
that's it. The thing that is like truly human. Like,
yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think as a tool, it is useful for various things, for speeding things up, but not replacing actual creativity. Like I don't want to sit and listen to a podcast, for instance, where it's two AI voices reading stuff off the internet.
Right, exactly.
No, thank you.
Exactly.
Or I don't want to watch a cartoon that is just made by Sora, although Sora's closed down, so that's something.
Oh, has it?
It's like the beginning. People are trying to say it's the beginning of the end of AI, which it's not true, is it? But it is quite an interesting point.
It might be that, I guess that's the thing, right, is that it's still so early, we're still getting used to it. And I feel like we're in this wave where like AI is doing everything. And then I think like with that, people are going to go, actually, no, I don't want to watch fucking cartoons or films made by AI. And maybe eventually it's going to kind of calm down and it's going to be like, okay, here's what AI is good for and here is not worth using it for, you know?
I think so.
That's what we hope.
And I think the big hope is that the non-creatives, that's a bit of a demeaning term, but people who don't work in a creative sector, that they will be able to spot AI slop and realize it for what it is and not enjoy it. And not just sit there and engage with it because there's nothing else. Yeah. If you know what I mean. So, yeah.
And this is interesting. We're going to talk about two movies. Obviously, they're sort of toy focused. I'm going to ask you about that in a moment. But also this idea of like children sort of befriending AI kind of as well. And again, that's like a real thing as well that you read now in the news about people that have like AI girlfriends or AI partners or AI best friends as well. And it's like there's something kind of sad and existential about that as well, isn't there? You know?
I mean, I guess as a toy, the thing is, as a toy, something that you can respond to and look after has always been there. Always been there. Like the child who picks up the doll to care for the baby.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. The Tamagotchi was the sort of next level of that.
Oh my God, that was our generation's toy, wasn't it? Like
sure
high-tech toy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was great, and then it might poo, and then it might die, and you have that sort of little attachment to it. It's a bit sad.
Yeah.
But it does feel like, nowadays it's getting even more realistic. I mean, I know M3GAN doesn't actually exist, but
no.
But people are becoming addicted to their phones, to talking to God knows who.
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone from catfishing to just like, actually, it doesn't even matter that they're not real.
It doesn't matter. I don't need them to be real. Exactly. Yeah. We're doing like a bit of I guess like a creepy doll double bill here, right? With the 2019 Child's Play and M3GAN. And of course, this is almost its own subgenre separately to kind of mad science. What's fun is that these two movies cross over because they're particularly about sort of AI toys. But why do you think generally there's been such a long, rich history of kind of dolls and toys in horror, do you think?
Well, dolls, like I said, dolls have been around for a very long time.
Yeah.
And the whole point of them is they sort of are meant to mimic or look human, but they don't. And it's that, I guess it's that sort of uncanny thing of, they're modeled on humans, but it's not particularly convincing in many ways. It's uncomfortable, it's unsettling, and yet you still, like, children still have this affinity with them. But as an adult, you look and you're like, oh my God, that is not right. That does not look like a real baby.
No.
So that kind of uncomfortability of it, just, you can quite easily turn that into, oh, actually, it doesn't feel right. It must be wrong. It must be evil.
Absolutely. It comes down exactly that. It comes down to the uncanny, doesn't it? That there's something about them that doesn't look right in our brains. Because you get, like, you know, friendlier looking toys are usually the ones that look less human, right? Like a teddy bear or something, or something that has maybe like, you know, oversized features like big eyes or whatever. But when you get those kind of, like, I don't know, sort of porcelain dolls or something that have much more human features, or ventriloquist dummies, actually, like that's the classic, isn't it? Like, there is something. They almost look too human, I suppose, don't they? You know,
almost too human. Especially ventriloquist dolls designed to have a life of their own. Like they do move and they do talk without someone there. Well, they're supposed to feel that way, aren't they? And that is not right. That is not right. And it's so easy for that. Yeah, just take that doll away from that human and shit. What kind of crazy, fucked up stuff are they going to get up to?
Have they ever scared you, these types of movies, kind of creepy killer doll movies, that kind of thing?
Have they ever scared me? Well, I mean, I suppose my favourite creepy doll would be Slappy from Goosebumps.
Oh, shit.
So as a kid, he scared me 100%.
Yeah, Night of the Living Dummy, right?
That's the one, yeah. He was a scary dummy. Again, proper ventriloquist dummy. And then I don't know that I've seen that many killer doll movies.
No.
But my favourite modern one would be Annabelle Creation. Like, Annabelle is a scary story, but the films vary in quality.
Yeah, and it's a really tricky balance, isn't it, with dolls? Like, I think some of the more popular ones, including the two we're going to speak about tonight, lean more into comedy horror, right? Because there is also something quite ridiculous and absurd about this tiny little 2-foot thing coming after you, right? So it can't be too serious. Annabelle is quite interesting because Annabelle is more scary, but she doesn't do anything. She doesn't move or talk, right? She just sits there in a rocking chair or whatever.
But but it's again uncanny. It's like, it's a human looking thing, but it's not moving, but somehow they're controlling stuff and actually it doesn't. I wonder whether the reason for the doll creating violence or whatever, maybe that's the scary part. And so maybe if it's a human spirit taking over a doll like Annabelle, like Chucky, is that? I think I probably find that scarier than it's a robot.
Yeah. I think I agree because there's like a malevolent kind of human inside it. That makes it scarier, definitely. But yeah, it's a tricky balance it has to strike, I think, between like never feeling too campy and ridiculous with a doll and you know and maintaining that creepiness. Like Chucky has. You know, and we'll talk a lot about, obviously, Chucky, but like the classic Chucky, Don Mancini's Chucky, has kind of evolved where it's become more and more comedic and more human, right? And I think that's because as soon as you give it a voice and a personality and you've got Brad Dourif kind of swearing and stuff, it's like, okay, it's no longer scary. But it is quite scary in the original 1988 film when he's just sitting there staring and going, "Hi, I'm Chucky." Like that in itself is creepier, I think.
Yeah, completely. And you know what's in there. And, they're slasher movies. And I think you want to believe there's a reason for the slasher doing their job. And, Brad Dourif's just a brilliant serial killer.
Yeah.
And a brilliant comic. And that series, it goes meta and it goes funny. And I think it's a absolutely brilliant film series and a brilliant show. But it's very far removed from the Child's Play film we get that we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, I actually like this movie and I kind of respect it for this. It's completely its own thing, really, right? It's like, yes, it's called Chucky, but they've made it look different. It sounds different. The story is completely different. Like, it doesn't have the same vibe as the Don Mancini Chucky films, you know?
No, which probably is a good thing. It makes it stand out a little bit more. But those Chucky films are just, they're great.
Oh my God, they're amazing.
And yeah, maybe he's a little less uncanny as the films go on, and you're just like, this is just essentially a cartoon now. But that's okay.
Yeah, I'm just watching this great character that I love, and Jennifer Tilly as the bride as well. Yeah. They're just this incredible double act, right? But yeah, did you ever have a doll? Were you a big toy person growing up?
You know what? I really didn't.
No.
My brother, my sister both had ones they were very attached to, but no, maybe, I don't know, maybe being the first child as I've got my parents. I don't know if I need, but I've never really thought about it. But no dolls, no scary dolls. I've now got a giant Totoro in the bedroom.
Oh, that's
no,
yeah,
nothing.
Because we're all nerds, we get more into toys as we grow into adults, basically. Yeah,
yeah, and there's a good joke about that in M3GAN.
Yeah, there is, exactly. Yeah, I was the same. I had a lot of toys, but they were more like kind of Transformer type things or Power Rangers and stuff, but they weren't the kind of M3GAN or Chucky type sort of human looking dolls ever. I never really had those that were like my friend that I took around with me or whatever.
That's it. Yeah, I remember I did have Action Man,
exactly. Yeah,
he's not this kind of thing, is he? I suppose.
No, exactly. All right, amazing. Well, let's get into it. Speaking of, then let's talk about Child's Play from 2019. Oh my goodness. I can't believe this film's already 7 years old as well, which is mad, right?
Yeah, that's the whole COVID era, just sort of
terrifying.
The black hole of
the black hole, exactly. It should only be 3 years ago, but it's 7. So, yeah, first of all, Rob, set the scene for us. Give us a little plot synopsis of this movie.
Okay, so single mum Karen and her young teenage son Andy have moved into a new apartment. They seem to be living hand to mouth, with Karen working extra shifts at Zmart and Andy bored and kind of unhappy. What happened to his father, we never do find out. With Andy's birthday coming up, Karen decides to give him an early present in the form of a returned, but malfunctioning buddy doll. A robot doll that uses AI to befriend and care for its owner, with a learning model that personalises its responses and behaviours. Things begin okay, and Andy starts to play with it and enjoy himself around Buddy, who somehow names itself Chucky. The more time they spend together, however, the doll, without its violence and language safeguards, starts to develop hostile behaviours in order to protect Andy and remain his best buddy. Plenty of death and bad language ensue.
Yeah. Do you know what? The deaths go hard in this film. I forgot how hard they go.
Oh my God, 100%. This film is a horror film.
Yeah, proper horror film.
Proper horror film with comedy elements. It's a good, solid horror film.
I agree. I was going to say, I was going to start with that. Just generally, what do you think about it? I think this movie has a bit of a bad rap, and I understand that for certain reasons. I think Don Mancini was pretty upset that Universal kind of took his property that they have the rights to and resurrected it without him having anything to do with it. And so I think for fans of the original Chucky, there was a bit of backlash. There was a bit of #NotMyChucky, you know. Having said that, if we just look at it in its own context, you know, what do you think of it as a movie?
I think it does a very good job of being a rampant, violent killer robot movie.
Yeah.
It has, I think it's lit really well, it's directed really well. And I think maybe on the first time I was trying to get past all the Chucky comparisons.
It's hard, isn't it? You've got to kind of separate yourself from that franchise.
I think you really do. But actually, second time round, if you take that away, it really works as just a pretty scary slasher movie.
Yeah.
It's well done. It's dark. Like you said, the kills are pretty great, pretty gruesome. I care sort of for the characters.
Yeah.
And people who deserve their comeuppance get their comeuppance. Mostly the people who die in this film deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think it's really well done.
Me too. I think it's very solid, this movie. I remember seeing it at the press screening in 2019. I went with Mike Lee Graham, actually. And I remember the two of us, We'd had a few drinks. I think there were quite a few free drinks at the screening, and we were roaring with laughter through it. And partly because of how fucking creepy this Chucky is. Like, the design of this particular Chucky, his weird little face, it's quite hideous looking as a toy, isn't it? And I really enjoy that about it.
Yeah, that's sort of, it's so bizarre, isn't it? It's like, okay, the original Chucky is a cute toy. This, he's hideous.
Absolutely.
Why would
hideous.
anyone want that little gross looking? He looks more like a Riddler. Did you ever watch that children's TV show?
That is what he looks like. Is it the lines around the mouth, maybe?
Yeah, and the
something?
kind of cheeks that kind of stick out almost to a point.
Yeah.
He is not a good looking kid, this
It's
Buddy
horrible.
doll.
I was trying to work it out what it is about this Chucky that looks so grotesque compared to the Chucky we all know. I think you're right. It's something to do with the shape of the mouth, right? He's got a weird hairline, almost as if he's wearing hair plugs. It's really weird. Like, everything about the face, I think they've done a really good job of making it look fucking hideous and unnerving.
For sure. It's really, he's almost got a mullet, which is never a good look. And yeah, I think maybe it's because the facial features can move more than maybe we've seen on one of these dolls before. But like, yeah, they just sort of move into such weird positions constantly. And it's got almost like a pentagonal face.
Yes.
It doesn't feel or look human in the same way that the original one did.
But also, is there something about it that is too human as well, that almost makes it more uncanny? Because when he opens his mouth as well, he's got like human-looking teeth as well. And maybe that's something... Yeah. I've talked quite a lot about, when I've done lectures and talks, I talk about like the uncanny and stuff. And I talk about... Do you remember the original Sonic the Hedgehog trailer that the internet lost their mind over? And because Sonic looked too creepy and uncanny, they made his teeth small and human. They gave him small eyes. He looked a bit like this Chucky, and everyone freaked out and was like, that is a hideous Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's such a good point.
Yeah, and the backlash was so extreme that the studio actually like pulled the movie, didn't they? And they reanimated it, and it delayed the release of the film, and they actually like zhuzhed up Sonic, and they gave him bigger eyes, less realistic features, made him look cuter and more cartoony, and and that like improved it basically, and the film was a massive success. But yeah, there is something of that original Sonic to this Chucky.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, there's a reason that Sonic didn't look like a real hedgehog in the first place.
Right.
And I guess with this guy, yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe he's verging on too much of an ugly little kid.
It's weird.
And not the shiny, happy doll that we do find creepy.
Yeah.
They've gone almost the opposite way.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we've got Mark Hamill, right, as well. Yeah. Like, what do you think? Obviously, Mark Hamill... everyone knows him as Luke Skywalker, but actually maybe these days people know him just as well for being this incredible voice artist, right? Too this voice actor. What do you think of him here as Chucky?
He is good. I think one of the things that these dolls struggle with, or these films struggle with, is that the dolls for so much of the runtime don't say loads, or they're saying pre-programmed phrases, because with both of them they're learning as they go. So they do have a base sort of vocabulary, but I don't think Mark Hamill really gets to shine until Chucky goes fully deranged in the last sort of third. And then Mark Hamill shines. He's absolutely brilliant as serial killer. I think, again, it's weird because it is a robot. So how does it have personality? This is one of the weird things about AI, is that it can make robots seem human. And so he really fills this doll with a real deranged human character.
And again, like, very, very different to Brad Dourif serial killer Chucky, right? Like, I think what they're going for here is, it's much more, like you say, it is a robot. It's an AI serial killer. Mark Hamill's known for, like, he's really celebrated for doing the Joker voice, right? Isn't he?
Right,
I've never actually seen Mark Hamill's Joker. I don't know if you have, like, any of those versions.
No, not seen much of it, but the people who I speak to that love that Batman series say he's incredible. And he's done so much voice work. So it makes sense to bring him in.
But yeah, I think I actually really like, again, it's taking it in a different direction. With the original Child's Play, there is this Chucky doll, but actually the Chucky doll is completely inane and harmless. It's the fact that it's been possessed by a serial killer.
Yeah.
And so you've got the Chucky voice, the "Hi, I'm Chucky," and then you've actually got Brad Dourif's voice in that amazing twist halfway through when he starts like swearing and shouting and whereas this, it's like, no, the Mark Hamill doll voice is also the voice of the killer, right? And it's like, with Brad Dourif's Chucky, it's like he's just trying to find a way to turn himself human again and get out of this doll's body. Whereas I guess the motive for this Chucky, if we even want to call it a motive, is he's doing everything in the name of like friendship and loyalty to Andy, right? He's trying to be a best buddy, and that's it.
That's it. And I guess, towing the line between being the right voice for a doll, but also being threatening and sounding like something that should kill you, is a tough act, I suppose. So, and I think Mark Hamill does it quite well, because at no point was I like, actually, why would a child's doll sound like that? Or actually, I'm not convinced that this doll wants to kill you.
Yeah.
So, now we talk about it. Mark Hamill, I'm impressed.
It's pretty good. I like it. He's good at doing the creepiness, the kind of uncanny creepiness, where it's like he's kind of being friendly, but there is just this air of something sinister just beneath the surface. It's true,
right? Because those motives are about protection and caring. It's kind of imbuing those phrases of like, I'm doing this for you, or that sort of thing, that are friendly and are caring, but are also, I'm going to kill someone to protect you.
Well, yeah, this is it, isn't it? This is, and I suppose sci-fi has been exploring this forever, this idea of robots. And, there are those things, I can't remember who set it up, but the idea of the rules of robotics, where it's like...
is it Asimov?
Yeah, that's it. Isn't rule number one that a robot would never harm a human or something, right?
Yes, which is something that this film does mention.
Right.
Because we should say, I suppose, that Chucky in this, or Buddy, the only reason he goes rogue is because a disgruntled factory worker takes the inhibitors out and then promptly kills himself.
Right.
But this is the only one of that line that has this chip removed, or the things removed. So, it can just go for it.
And this is the thing, it's not, I mean, obviously it is an absurd story, but there is something about it that is not outside of the realms of possibility when you're training a computer and AI to be like this like loyal friend to the end, and it's like, if you take out those inhibitors or you tweak that code, who knows what these things could do, right? I suppose that's the fun, and that's the danger of it.
Completely.
There was something that happened, wasn't there? Do you remember on the news about a year ago where Elon Musk updated his AI, his Grok AI, and took out some of tweaked some of the code to stop it from being so sort of woke, quote unquote. And then it suddenly turned into Mecha Hitler, and it started basically Grok, the AI on Twitter, turned into a Nazi essentially, and started spouting anti-Semitic stuff.
Was that Grok, or was that just Elon Musk trying something
Well,
out?
This is it, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. Basically, he tweaked the code to a point that sort of said, remove anything that is going to stop you from... remove anything that sounds too politically correct, or you're pandering to people. And then it went so far that it basically became Hitler, this AI. And it was terrifying and bleak and depressing, but also in a way it's kind of fascinating, isn't it, that is what an AI did when it had its code slightly tweaked in that way.
So there's real life evidence that this kind of thing can happen. All it takes in this film is for the doll to see a knife, and how that's used to cut a sandwich.
That's really funny as well. And watching a bit of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, it was watching horror films will turn you into a killer, basically.
Well, watching horror films out of sequence, I must say.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I love that. And I almost wondered if that was a little meta joke about the fact that Child's Play 3 nearly got banned in the UK for, being blamed for a child murder, right? Much more kind of serious thing that happened. And it was ludicrous that newspapers like the Daily Mail blamed Chucky for that.
Yeah, they had to find
But
something.
I almost wondered if that was an almost little reference to it, this idea of Chucky watches a horror film and then immediately goes for knife.
Well, yeah, again, it's trying to be meta where it can.
Yeah, exactly. So what do we think about this? Like, so we've got, very similar to the original Child's Play, we've got this mother-son at the centre of it, right? So we've got Karen Barkley, played by Aubrey Plaza, and her son Andy, played by Gabriel Bateman. I mean, Aubrey Plaza, first of all, I love her in everything. She's so good, isn't she?
She is amazing. And going into this for a second watch, I thought, from what I remember, I feel like she's underserved, but actually she does get quite a few good comedy lines. I know I don't love her in the role of sort of dismissive, unhelpful mum, but she's just a great actor, and she sells it well, and her relationship with Andy does seem genuine. She is trying to be the cool younger mum.
Yeah.
And I would have her as my mum. She's amazing.
Yeah, I actually, again, to this film's credit, I think the characters are so different to Andy and his mum in the original. You know, she's dating a guy, and she's
why
going
did she
through...
choose that guy?
Why did she choose that guy? Exactly. She's going through all of her own shit. And Andy, too, is very different to the cute little Andy from the original. I think the Andy in the original was much younger, right?
Yeah.
He's much more like wanted this doll to be his best friend. Whereas this kid, he's like, what? He's verging on being a teenager.
Yeah, I think they say he's 13 because it's almost his birthday, isn't it?
So kind of the idea is he's a bit too old for these kinds of toys, right? And thinks they're kind of lame. But then that in itself means he can have fun with this doll because he's a cynical teenager.
Completely. Let's see what it can do. Let's see what we can make it do.
Yeah.
And especially once you start to realise that it can do a bit more than it should, and the neighbouring kids are sort of really lean into that and like, oh my God, it shouldn't be able to swear at me. What else can it do?
And to be fair, when you're a 13-year-old boy, if you had a doll that could call you like a motherfucker, I think that would be the most fun. I would show it to my friends as well, to be fair.
Sure.
What do you think of Gabriel Bateman as Andy? Because he kind of has to carry the film, really, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I think he's really convincing. Yeah, like you say, he's the one we follow throughout, and I don't think you ever doubt that he wants to spend time with this doll, that he doesn't like his stepfather, the boyfriend.
Yeah.
I think his reaction, because he's not grieving. Katie is grieving, isn't she, and Megan? But Andy's in that weird space of like, doesn't have a dad, needs someone to fill that gap. And at least for a while, I think Chucky does that. And he's just good. He sells the sad kid with no friends, no father, and the reluctance to make friends as well is so true, isn't it? Like, I don't want to go outside and start talking to new people.
Yeah.
I think he's great. And I don't know if he was designed to look like Elliot from E.T., but he really does.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I think his face is quite similar, but also he's wearing that red hoodie the whole time.
Yeah, you're right.
And
that's
even Chucky has that little light up finger.
He does. Oh yeah, you're so right. Oh, there were like overt references to E.T. actually, thinking about it. Yeah, child of divorced parents, like you say, in need of a father figure or in need of a friend generally.
Yeah,
right?
I think he's great, and he can do the sad, he can do the action.
Yeah.
And like I say, the best relationship is the one he has with his mum. They get on well, and I enjoy being in their company.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. I think they, again, like a bad child performer at the centre of a movie could potentially ruin a movie, and he does a great job, I think, here. Yeah.
So true.
And I also like the supporting characters that we get. So we get like his group of friends, we get the neighbours in this apartment block that they live in, these different kind of residents and stuff, and that's where we start getting more kills, obviously, as we get introduced to these other characters. But again, I think they all get quite fun things to do, and that's where you get some of the comedy creep in with some of these other characters.
Yeah, you get the comedy from the kids, showing the doll things, getting him to say things like the 2-pack line is so funny and comes to gets used at the end again. It's really good. Yeah, even the neighboring kids, Pug and Fallon or whatever her name is, that Karen is surprised to hear is an actual name.
Yes.
I think they're great. They provide a lot of humour. Then they're sort of extra friends who really give him give Chucky the the negative influence are great. But also like Paperboy, and the detective next door who plays Paperboy in Atlanta, which is a brilliant series.
Okay.
If you have not seen that, there's some great, creepy, uncanny episodes of that.
I've heard a lot about. Well, there's one particular episode, isn't there?
Yes.
What's it called?
It's the name of the character.
Yeah, I know. I know the one. I've heard a lot about it. Atlanta's always been on my list. I'm going to check it out one day. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. It's so good. But I think he is brilliant as the detective. And it is that thing of horror movies, like all the characters you really need are in a very short, small area.
Yeah.
So you can build the story however you want. And you know, maybe that wouldn't happen in real life, but it works perfectly here. And he goes around to see his mum, who is very sweet as well. And Andy's relationship with her is quite sweet. Like they don't know each other, but he uses her as a scapegoat, as an excuse to sort of get away from his mum.
Yeah.
And I think they're all good characters, and especially Shane, the boyfriend.
Yes,
he is a prick of the highest order.
Yeah, he's really good, played by David Lewis. Like really kind of smarmy, hateful character. Right, he's perfect.
Yeah, he is one of the characters who deserves what he gets. Like. While rewatching it, I was like, this guy is a prick, but does he deserve to die? And then you see him drive home to his family. You're like, okay, yeah, you're just not a nice person, are you?
No.
So he's excellent as that character. And I think it's good to have all these different dynamics from all the different supporting characters around, just to influence Chucky in these different ways.
There's something almost of apart from the horrific horror, which we'll get into, but there is something almost of a kind of, I don't know, almost like a child story or a family film in this, you know, like it's not again, apart from when we get into the violence, it's not a million miles away from the movies we might have watched growing up, like E.T., but also films like Small Soldiers, for example, or, you know, family films where you've got kids at the centre, you know, you've maybe got a horrible stepmother or stepfather or whatever. Like, there is something of a kind of family film vibe to this movie in a way, tonally, isn't there?
Yeah, I guess so. You've got lots of good influences. You've got a little bit of the wrong type of influence, but you've got the supportive uncle character. And the neighbours, like we were talking about Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Yeah, you've got the neighbours, one of whom is a bit of a prick, but yeah, like all these dynamics are very, very similar to that sort of thing. And Small Soldiers, I can't believe we didn't talk about that this time. But
I know. I really nearly had it on my list, and I thought about pairing it with this movie because, of course, Small Soldiers, Joe Dante. It is a kids movie, but fuck me, that was a violent kids movie, wasn't it?
So
in the 90s?
Violent, and it is essentially the same thing.
It's the same thing, right? Although, it's like toys with a supercomputer chip in them that make them dangerous, right? It's the same thing,
yeah. But like, yeah, the dynamics between all the characters and a lot of the motivations for the toys to go rogue are similar.
Yeah,
it's interesting that M3GAN is probably closer to that,
yes,
in terms of the tone and style of a children's film, whereas this really goes for the gore.
Yeah, it does. So let's talk about these killings, because like you say, it doesn't take long before Chucky starts learning some pretty bad behavior, right? And there's a bit of a it's almost like a bit of a nature nurture thing going on, isn't there? Like you say, when he's learning certain things, he's getting bad influences, he's watching horror movies, he's, you know, is the first thing he kills, is it the cat?
Well, he goes to kill the cat and he doesn't succeed.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the cat becomes the first one, or because later on you see Karen sees the I don't have cats or pets, so I've forgotten what you call the collar.
The collar.
Well, I can't remember the collar.
Yeah.
She sees the collar hanging up. I think that's meant to suggest that later on he's killed the cat.
Right.
To piss off Karen.
Yeah.
Which means that the first death is Shane.
Oh, yeah. I
think.
Yeah.
The first real death. Because, I don't think the cat has died, although we don't ever see it again. So maybe you're right. But, like, that's a classic thing. It happens in so many serial killer things. Like the serial killer's sort of MO starts with killing animals. I'm thinking of Dexter and people like that.
Absolutely. Rob Zombie's Michael Myers.
Of course.
But yeah, no, absolutely. It's like classic serial killer behaviour, isn't it? You kill the pets and then you might move on to the badly behaved adults, and then eventually you're just going for like innocent children, essentially.
And you know what? That is exactly what happens in these films.
Exactly, yeah. That's the progression, isn't it? Yeah, but like we said, the deaths are gnarly. I like the guy in the basement that gets dropped onto the circular saw and stuff.
Yeah. I think it's funny, isn't it? Because to me, both his death and Shane's death, they feel quite Final Destination-y.
Yes.
Because this is a doll, like, he can set stuff up. He couldn't necessarily kill either of them with a knife.
That's right.
Obviously, somehow Brad Dourif's Chucky can. But, like, in this film, Chucky is running around sort of setting things up so that he can get him to where he wants him and then can stab him 27 times or whatever.
That's the difference, isn't it? Again, like with Child's Play, the original, with like Brad Dourif's Chucky, he is supernatural. So there is a supernatural element where he does have, I guess, increased strength, where he can run around with a massive knife and actually stab people to death. Whereas this Chucky, it's like, he it's using the tech more, isn't it? It's like he can connect via smart devices to other things, to other machines, to other toys, or he can set stuff up. He's a little bit more wily and a bit more calculating in that way, And again, I quite like that as a much more modernized version of a kind of AI killer and what it could do,
You get to him using those tech things, but that Shane death is pretty much just, I'm going to knock his ladder. I'm gonna turn on the rotavator. It happens very luckily, but But I mean, it's just, that scene's just so good. Like the shins coming out is one of the most brutal moments in a film I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
it reminded me actually of, there's a great bone snapping scene in the most recent Texas Chainsaw film.
Oh yeah,
where they're in the they're in a people carrier or a minivan or something, and someone's elbow goes back the wrong way, and it was exactly the same kind of crunch. So the sound design is amazing.
Yeah,
the bones piercing the flesh. Oh, so good. But also, it happens at the same time that his kids are just on the other side of the window with their tech on their iPads with their headphones on. It's just like, that's really well done.
Yeah, it's good. It's very good. Do you think this movie has anything to say about like tech, AI, consumerism, anything else that it's dealing with? Is this movie kind of exploring much, or is it just a kind of fun horror movie?
I think it knows that it's warning us of the dangers of tech and how connecting everything to each other just leaves us in this what's the word? Where the echo chamber. It's like being on social media and not following other people. Like if all you're doing is connecting your phone to your heating, to your whatever, your oven, I don't know, then that's so surely it's your own fault when all of them fail and you die. I think it's saying something about that. It's saying be careful. But is it saying much more than that? I don't think it's telling us not to embrace AI. I don't think it's telling us not to buy dolls. I think it is more focused on being a fun robot slasher that happens to be using AI as a way of getting into it.
Yeah.
And there are films that do this sort of thing. I'm thinking of one of the Home Alone sequels. Just ups the ante by making his house already, integrated technologically.
Right. Yeah.
So it has been done. I don't think that's a particularly unique setup.
No. I mean, I've been talking about that kind of thing, like the smart home in horror since Demon Seed in the 1970s as well. And this idea of the kind of dangerous robot or AI has been around for basically as long as cinema has been around, and horror cinema and sci-fi. I guess more with this pairing, and I think maybe we'll talk about this more with M3GAN actually, is the kind of the corruption of children from modern technology. And, there's been a lot even in the news recently, right? I mean, Australia have recently banned social media for under 16s. I know our UK government is considering whether to do that as well. There's a big debate over that at the moment. Smartphones for kids, should they be banned as well? You know, iPads, too much screen time for children. Social media is such a kind of potentially dangerous thing, or it's such a hot topic right now, I suppose. So I guess, and again, there's not a huge amount of that, particularly in Child's Play, but I think that idea of, we'll talk about it more with the character of Katie, I think, in M3GAN, but the idea of this like addiction, this reliance on social media and on tech, you know, almost as if it's like, it's something you've become emotionally attached to more than a human being, I think is here in Child's Play and in M3GAN, you know?
Yeah, definitely. That's quite a big part of M3GAN. And I think actually in this film, there are moments where Andy can't bear, like when he has to kill Chucky, he hesitates and the friends have to do it for him. Yes. That's definitely demonstrating that he's built this attachment.
Yeah.
So the dangers of making too much of a connection to something like that is definitely there, but it's maybe not its main focus. Like I think you said, even the satire, like Chucky films have always been funny and meta and all of that. Yeah. But yeah, like you say, with Kazlan and the tech industry, it is being a bit more satirical in that area than necessarily warning us against it, because I think we all see enough of that.
Agreed.
Really.
It had some fun with its marketing as well. I don't know if you remember this, but it had a marketing campaign because it came out about a month before Toy Story 4. Right?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God, amazing.
So they had like almost complimentary posters and stuff, which made me laugh. But of course, it's so weird, and it is apparently just a pure coincidence that obviously Toy Story is also about a kid called Andy and his attachment to his favourite doll, right? Who also... the doll is actually alive, you know, and it's quite funny. And that obviously came out after the original Child's Play. And apparently that was just pure coincidence. Obviously, this Pixar movie wasn't referencing, you know, Child's Play. But, you know, there is a funny thing that about a boy called Andy and his toy best friend, you know?
It's true. And talking of Andy, every time I heard Aubrey Plaza say Andy, I was sort of wishing for her to be talking to Andy Dwyer in Parks and Recreation. It's like I've heard that name so many times come from her mouth. Oh. It's like, oh, no, it's not. But that's okay.
So finally, how do you find the sort of final act? Because again, it's quite a fun sort of final act when we're in the toy store, I thought, you know.
Yeah, it is exciting. It builds and it feels like a proper horror denouement. With lots and lots of people. It made me think about like how many horror films are set in supermarkets and stores and like.
Yeah, it's a good setting for that, isn't it?
It is. It just allows for panic. Yeah. Like panic creates such a vibe.
Yeah.
People screaming, people running left, right, and centre. Doesn't matter what the reason is. That already puts you on the edge of your seat. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Like, how am I going to figure out what's going on? How am I going to get through this? So that's great. And I think just the whole, again, Chucky's he's clever. I got to hand it to this AI doll. He does learn, and it is an intelligent doll. He builds that whole. He builds that whole process of like, right, stab that guy in the neck. That'll cause panic. Then I'll get the drones up. Then I'll kidnap his mum. And it's like he's foreseen every stage of this to get Andy where he wants him.
Yes.
To protect him. That juxtaposition is intriguing the whole time, because it's like, I am killing everyone, but it is for your own good.
Exactly. I love that. There's something it's almost like Fatal Attraction-y, or like one of those kinds of stories where you've got this obsessive friend, you know, that will do anything for you to such extremes. I love it too. I think it's fun. I like the way that, again, it's kind of, and we see this with M3GAN too. I guess the other thing about AI is that the danger is that it will be smarter than us. Like, it will have thought of every scenario. You know, so when a plan comes into action, often it requires something else, a kind of brute, more primal strength almost, or something to destroy an AI rather than outthinking it, I guess.
Yeah, something that only a human can do.
Yeah.
And you see that, don't you? How many times do they have to like knock this doll down?
Yeah.
Just when you think like, Andy's destroyed it with the hedge trimmer, or the cops like shot it with a gun. It does require like just more and more people piling on with their brute strength. Just all those component parts have to fall apart. You can't let it be connected in any way. And I really liked actually the very end where all the kids are just like taking jackhammers to it.
So good.
Just like until its head has come off and the heart is broken. And I do love this modern thing of having the heart where the heart is.
Yeah, it's so good.
Like, it's so human.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah, it's a fun... I mean, this is the thing. It's a fun movie. It's not, it's not stuck out in my mind as one of the great horror movies of the last decade. But I had a perfectly fun time rewatching it, It is very fun. It's a very fun, easy watch.
Yeah, and I would say, actually, if people have seen it and are reluctant to go back, actually do. Yeah. And watch it through the lens of just, it could have been anyone. Forget the Chucky thing. It does feel like it never was a Chucky film.
Yeah, I think that was his biggest problem, is that it shouldn't have been Chucky, right? It should have just been its own thing, like M3GAN is.
Yeah, although maybe it wouldn't have stood out in the same way.
Well, no, I think that's
I think it could have been it could have been swallowed up by the crowd of horror movies, and the franchise tag helped it rise above the sort of parapet and be seen, but it also worked to its detriment in many ways. But yeah, think of him as Buddy, and that's all you need to do, really, because it's quite a fun film.
I agree. I think it's absolutely fine. Did pretty well too, but I don't think a sequel is on the cards for it. Apparently they were thinking about trying to make a sequel happen, but then also the Chucky television series was coming out as well, and I think that made it less likely. Again, there were all kinds of very complicated issues with rights about these two franchises that are running almost parallel, because I think Universal own the rights to Child's Play, but Don Mancini owns the rights to Chucky. So that's why. Okay. So that's why he can continue making Chucky stuff, Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Curse of Chucky, but they're not allowed to have the Child's Play name,
right?
Because Universal own Child's Play, and that can be its own thing now. So it's like
it's interesting that they were able to use the name Chucky in this film. Then,
yeah.
But what I would say is, a sequel to a film about a robot that's gone rogue because of a faulty chip, how does that lend itself to a sequel? It does certainly not in the same way as a serial killer's spirit that keeps being revived.
Absolutely. Yeah, the serial killer's ongoing attempt to put himself in a human body, basically, is what he's been trying to do for 30 years. Yeah.
And they've done so much with it that actually it's gone out. It's got basically done 360 and believability. Like, you don't believe it, it doesn't actually matter. Yeah. And that's great. And I'd rather just watch that TV series return, because it's great fun.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Absolutely. I would always rather get another Brad Dourif, Don Mancini, Jennifer Tilly movie than one of these. And you're right, this movie was absolutely fun, good for what it is. We don't need more of that, Chucky, do we, really? We don't need more of that story.
No, I think we're good. Stay where you are. Sorry, Mark Hamill, you've got other things to do.
Well, maybe very similarly to the next film we're going to talk about, because M3GAN, huge success box office wise, and then nobody wanted the sequel, as it turned out. So maybe maybe there's something interesting in that, in like some of these stories about killer dolls or AI dolls don't necessarily need sequels, so there we go. All right, should we move on to M3GAN then? M3GAN.
Megan or Megan? Well, how do they say it all the different ways?
Exactly. So M3GAN from 2022, the Blumhouse smash hit. Rob, what's this movie all about?
After her parents are killed in a car crash during a snowstorm, 8-year-old Katie goes to live with her robotics engineer aunt Gemma, who works for a large toy company. Gemma, lacking somewhat in the knowing how to parent department, has been secretly working on an advanced AI robot doll that can befriend and protect its owner from emotional and physical harm, with a learning model that personalises its responses and behaviours. She calls it M3GAN, short for Model 3 Generative Android, and proceeds to bring it home and introduce it to Katie. The two become fast friends, with Katie seeming to work through her grief and mind her manners, thanks to her new best friend, who sings to her, teaches her about condensation, and reminds Katie to wash her hands. The more time they spend together, however, the doll, with such an advanced learning model that even Gemma doesn't understand, starts to develop hostile behaviours in order to protect Katie, As she becomes more and more of an efficient killing machine, M3GAN becomes as aggressive towards anyone who might stop it as to anyone who might try to harm Katie. Plenty of death and one-liners ensue.
Yes, indeed. Lovely synopsis. Lovely. What do you think of M3GAN, Rob? I mean, obviously this movie created such a huge moment when it came out, right? What do you think of it generally?
Well, I went to see this at the cinema, and I remember thinking,
Me too. Yeah.
It's the thing is, it's a great idea. It's just not really very horror-y.
No.
Like, it has hallmarks of great horror. It has a good story. We've just talked about a film that essentially is the same story, which was scary. This isn't scary. My initial thoughts were, it's fun, it's funny, it's watchable, it's 90 minutes, it's all that stuff's great. But I was a bit sort of left wanting. I think I was wanting blood. I think I was wanting just a bit more.
Yeah, a bit more bite.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've got to say, like, this movie I was almost looking forward to rewatching less than Child's Play for this episode, because I was a bit like, M3GAN, I don't know. Maybe it almost felt like a movie not for horror fans. It felt like a movie for normies, didn't it? I think, It
did. And I think, that success that it had is, I think it's because it's a PG-13. So all us horror fans are like, whoa, James Wan's done another Killer Doll movie. Brilliant. It's got great people in. Alison Williams doing another horror. This is ace. It's a killer doll. Amazing. We all went. All those kids who just saw a funny-looking doll who can dance went. So, like, they'd covered all the bases, and everyone went. And, of course, it made loads of money, and fair play to Atomic Monster and Blumhouse. They caught the zeitgeist. They got everyone in. It just sort of failed for the horror fans, I think.
I think it did. It just doesn't... And I actually, watching it again, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more, or maybe I was able to appreciate it a bit more for what it is, which is, like you say, not a creepy killer doll slasher movie as such. It's something a bit different to that. It is almost like this kind of YA sci-fi horror adventure movie that feels like it's skewed younger, right? It definitely feels that. And also this thing that it had, and maybe also this I almost got slight M3GAN fatigue at the time because it was so memed, and it was sort of this viral thing, wasn't it? Like M3GAN dancing, and she became this almost like camp sort of sensation, this camp icon.
Yeah, and you know what? That's brilliant. Like, leaning into the virality of all that stuff, like those dancing videos. I didn't see most of them. I know there was a weekend one. But like, seeing those videos is great to get the word out. But actually, like, it's not selling, or maybe it is selling what the film is, but it wasn't selling what I wanted the film to be.
Yeah.
So I tried to ignore that, but it was obviously, it caught something. The design was done so that anyone could imitate it.
Yeah.
And like you say, it is camp, but then so is Chucky. I shouldn't say Child's Play necessarily, but Chucky is pretty camp.
Oh god, yeah.
But it's camp and messed up. This is sort of camp and there's a little girl dancing.
Yeah. It's a different kind of vibe, isn't it? It's just got a much more kind of glossy mainstream vibe, I suppose, than what we horror fans might want from a Blumhouse killer doll movie. Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with that. I do sound a bit jaded, I suppose. But like, yeah, it felt like it was touching on some really interesting issues that if you're not going to go the way of horror, all out horror, I'd rather have it been an actual drama and seen this kind of drama about a grieving child forming an attachment, a dangerous attachment. Like, make it about that. Because if you're going to introduce a killer doll, but you don't really see it kill anyone, it's sort of not living up to the premise.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? And again, I think... despite the kind of huge moment that it created in 2022 when it was released, nobody went to see the sequel. It completely bombed, and Jason Blum himself said, I think we overestimated how much people care about M3GAN. So yeah, it's really interesting. It was like this incredible moment, and then it went away again, essentially, right? And I don't know if that's it for M3GAN. I don't know if we're going to get many, other movies necessarily, but who knows?
No, I don't think we need another M3GAN. I think, to be fair to Jason Blum, he really took a swing. Like, I didn't need a sequel to Child's Play, as we just said. It's the same thing stands here. Like, they've destroyed a robot AI that I wasn't attached to, I wasn't massively scared of, but they brought it back in such a ridiculous and ludicrous way and completely swapped genres. Actually, that's cool. I only watched it for the first time the other day, and I had no idea that's what it was. But I kind of enjoyed it for what it was, which is just, like you said, T2 or a Mission Impossible film with a doll.
Almost feels a bit Austin Powers at times. Like, it's just like full camp comedy, isn't it, that one?
100%, yeah. So, fair play. They got it wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you are right. I think the hype came. We all saw it.
I mean, what's really interesting is that it's not getting any more sequels, but they have announced, Blumhouse, that there is going to be a spin-off film called Soulmate with the number 8 in the instead of the A.
Is the number thing the only thing that makes it a spin-off? Because that would be fine.
I mean, it sounds, all I can find about it online, right, is that it is described, this is mad, it is described as a science fiction erotic thriller. A spin-off of M3GAN and the third installment in the M3GAN franchise. The plot follows a man who buys an android to cope with the death of his wife. So like a sex bot type story, I guess.
Okay, but it sounds like it might be the drama that I was after, but with a bit of sex in it as well.
like a Black Mirror episode might be, basically. Directed by Kate Dolan, who is she's a British or possibly Irish director. She made a great film that I saw at Glasgow Fright Fest a few years ago called You Are Not My Mother, a kind of Irish folk horror, which is really creepy and really good. So good for her that she's now working with Blumhouse. Amazing. So there you go. Just a little tidbit there on the future of the M3GAN franchise. But yeah, that's, at least they're going for something quite different by the sounds of it, which is good. But what do you think of this one in terms of its direction? We've got Gerard Johnston here, who had directed that quirky little movie Housebound, the Kiwi horror film from a few years ago, right? Again, I can see why he was a good choice for Blumhouse for this, because it's that balance of comedy and horror, right? I suppose.
For sure, yeah. I thought Housebound was great fun, like taking the haunted house tropes and sort of just spinning them a little bit. And it was funny. I don't think anyone would say Housebound was scary.
No.
I remember showing it to my sister, who is younger than me, who isn't that into horror.
Yeah.
And she loved it, but for the fun of it, like, it is funny. And I think he brings that sensibility to this, which is great. Like, the funny moments are funny.
Yeah.
I think he probably, speaking for the director himself, would have liked a bit more on the whole kill front. Like, they did actually make a sort of bloodier version, right?
Yes.
So maybe he felt a little bit hemmed in, but I think for what they've produced and his style, it works perfectly.
Yeah.
He's a good director, like, totally solid. Nothing wrong with how it's been shot, how it's been put together, for sure.
No, it's great. He's a really good director at doing this kind of a thing, these kind of comedy horror films. And you're right, we should mention that this movie was gorier, it was more violent, as was the sequel, apparently, and I think both of them were quite heavily chopped down by the studio in order to get a PG-13 certificate. So again, it's probably not entirely the filmmaker's fault that this movie feels a bit toothless for us horror fans.
Yeah, fair enough. I think he's a good director. I'd be up for seeing the next thing. I just would like him to embrace the horror a bit more. That's all.
And of course, produced by James Wan, who I actually interviewed for the podcast for this movie.
Yeah, because he wrote the story, right? Or he came up with
the story. It was his story. He loves a creepy doll, doesn't he?
Bloody loves a creepy doll. Like,
going all the way back to Billy the Puppet in Saw, Billy
in Saw. And also, like, I remember watching the follow-up to Saw and thinking, what the hell has he done? Dead silence with the ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah.
Marionette. What, are they the same thing? Is a marionette a ventriloquist dummy?
Yeah, marionette. Is that also called... No, marionette has strings. Ventriloquist dummy is...
Right.
You control it with your hand inside it. Is that also called Billy, the puppet in Dead Silence?
Ooh, I don't know.
I feel like it might be.
Well, yeah, he loves Annabelle. It's like almost
Annabelle. Yeah, he does. He loves a creepy doll, does James Wan, right?
Yeah, and he's really gone like, right, now I'm going for a modern doll, okay?
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, he knows how to create a hit too, doesn't he? Again, just like given how much money this movie made, as well as the Conjuring universe, the Saw universe, everything James Wan does turn to gold, actually, a lot of the time.
Yeah, fair. I mean, he's got the ideas and they work. And if it's about a doll, that's why. I mean, this is, to be fair, Billy isn't the reason Saw is good.
No.
But
no, and actually, Annabelle isn't the reason that the original Conjuring was a hit either.
Exactly. That's the red and black-faced devil demon thing, which is absolutely terrifying.
No, Rob, you're getting your franchises confused. That's Insidious.
Oh, bloody hell.
That's Insidious. How dare you assume they're all the same? But yeah, no, I think, again, like a winning team in a way, right? You've got Jason Blum, you've got James Wan, you've got Gerard Johnston. Again, like a lot of like big players behind this franchise.
For sure. Way, Yeah, so much quality behind them. They know what they're doing. Like, I think, like we said, the thing they did wrong was appeal to the broadest possible audience. But actually, was that the wrong thing? Because it made them a fuck ton of money.
Financially, it was the right thing, wasn't it? Definitely. So let's talk about the story of this. And yeah, I guess in relation to Child's Play too, because this, we again are focusing on a lonely child in need of a parent figure or a friend who finds friendship in this AI doll, essentially. So very, very similar, obviously parallels. But I think, as we've mentioned already, Katie... The movie begins in a pretty dark, sad way, doesn't it? I mean, again, you feel like this is classic children's literature stuff, actually. It's like a Disney movie or a Roald Dahl story, because it begins with her parents dying in a car crash, right? It's sad.
Yeah, I'd say that is the darkest moment of the film, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, it really sets up the space that Katie is in throughout this film and makes sense of why she gets attached to this doll. Like, yeah, it's you know, child grief central. Like, as you say, we've seen it before, but it does it effectively and you really feel for her.
Yeah.
Like, it's brutal. That is a death. Again, you don't see that much, but it works.
It does.
It feels like a proper horror moment.
It does. And again, hats off to Violet McCraw, who plays Katie, right? Like, I think she's amazing in this, because she has to carry it in the way that Andy does in Child's Play, but actually she has to do more. She has to go through more in this movie. There's a lot of kind of high emotional stuff. And actually, what I will say to the film's credit is, while all of the other mad camp stuff is going on around her, Katie has to play it quite straight, actually. Like, she's taking the drama quite seriously. You know?
That's true, yeah. M3GAN might be quipping, but I don't really think Katie sees that. She is in a relationship as sort of friend, it's sort of caregiver, it's sort of...
Yeah, like a big sister almost. Yeah.
And she is 100% tied into that. And that is what M3GAN gives to her.
Yeah.
I don't think she's aware of the sort of layer of malice or... humor that is laced through that performance. She really feels like she's a kid who's lost her parents and has gone to live with her aunt, who is not really the person that should be replacing them.
I know. And I actually really like this about the film. Alison Williams is Gemma, the aunt, who actually is a pretty selfish, not that nice person, right? In a way, especially at the beginning of the film when we first meet her. What do you think of Gemma and this Alison Williams performance?
Again, Alison Williams is fabulous. She's so good at sort of she's the auntie. She knows she's got to look after her sister's kid, but I love this idea that she's just like, right, well, actually, my orders of priority are this secret robot I'm building. It trumps the death of my sister and the fact that her daughter's now got to live with me.
Yeah,
like, that is the hierarchy of things in her life.
Absolutely.
She's like, I've got a reason to use it. Now I've got someone to interact with it.
Yeah,
like, the whole thing. She's so self-centered, I suppose.
She is. Again, I think this is what's quite interesting. This goes back to everything I've talked about in this subgenre, all the way back to Frankenstein. She is, in a way, a Frankenstein-esque character. She is like selfish scientific genius, almost with a bit of a god complex, who kind of it's more about her hubris than anything else, this story, isn't it, in a way?
I mean, she's ambitious.
Yeah.
But to the point that you are not thinking about anybody else.
Yeah.
Like, she's creating this version of human life, I suppose, but she doesn't fully understand what she's built. And I guess if you're going to relate it to the Frankenstein story, she doesn't look after her doll.
No.
Victor Frankenstein abandons his creature, and then ultimately it comes back to kill them.
Yeah, I guess it's with both of them. It's like the thoughtlessness of like it's the Jeff Goldblum line. I mean, I can apply the Jeff Goldblum line to every single film in this series, but
have you said it in every episode?
I might as well have, Rob. I might as well have, because all she cared about was wondering if she could do this thing, and never thought to think if she should. She never thought to think about the ethics of what she's doing. She never thought to think about her grieving niece. And you're right. I mean, again, it's quite funny how, in a way, cold she is, that we don't see her grieve her sister at all.
Not at all.
Like, and that is deliberate. I think that's not a fault of the film. That is like very much deliberate. Like, her friends and her colleagues are like, should you take some time off, considering you've just been through this horrific thing? And she's like, nah, I'm fine. You know?
But that's it. She just doesn't think about anybody, does she?
Yeah.
Like, there's that moment where she's talking to David, her boss, who, for me, is the funniest thing about this film. I love Ronnie Cheng. I think he's amazing. He's amazing. But it's his character that brings the okay, this is much more of a comedy. Yes,
right?
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But he says that line, like, she's saying how, I can't remember what she's talking about, but she basically was working on those perpetual pets, and she tells him that she put a microphone in every single one, which is totally illegal. But she doesn't care about the ramifications. She doesn't care about the people that it's impacting.
No.
And, David doesn't want to hear it, but he's choosing to sort of turn a blind eye because this project looks like it's going to make him a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. And all of this stuff to do with Gemma's kind of workplace is really funny. I think, again, like, we get so much more of this than we do in Child's Play, because we don't really get to see the corporate side of it, the manufacturers, the scientists. But here it feels so much a satire of that kind of, I don't know, sort of Silicon Valley type kind of tech bro-y world, particularly through that character of David, right, who is... All of these characters are kind of quite grotesque, and they're sort of dicks in a lot of ways, but very funny.
For sure. Like, he 100% is that Silicon Valley thing of, like, I mean, I was recently watching The Dropout with Amanda Seyfried, just based on the true story of the woman who created that, or didn't, rather, create a piece of tech where you could analyze a drop of blood and diagnose all sorts of things. 100% true. She made it all up, couldn't keep up with the demands, made loads of money, stole loads of money, all of that. But that's sort of the driving thing behind David here as well. It's like he sees the potential and he wants to rush it into production and he wants to launch it. Like, there's no time to iron out the creases. It's just, oh, that's good. I don't, we've got to beat the others to market. That's the key line in terms of the kind of Silicon Valley commercialism, capitalism thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And this poor little girl who is just literally just grieving, and the way that the adults around her all just basically exploit that, right? Like, when she gets M3GAN, and she has this emotional connection to her and she cries and stuff, and all the adults can think is, oh my god, this is going to sell so well, like let's make this little girl emotional and show the investors or whatever,
True.
And even there's a moment when she's getting really upset halfway through the film about something, and Alison Williams is like, do you not want to come to this like big showcase? I mean, we kind of need you there, but, if you don't feel up to it, that's fine. It's just like, she doesn't give a shit. Yeah.
No, she doesn't give a shit. And it's funny you say that about the adult characters, because there's one adult character who does care, and she comes in at the start, and as in so many films about sort of children being put into care, the social services lady is seen as a villain, and she comes in and it really feels like you're meant to hate her.
Yes.
But then, like, halfway through the film, she's there in that room with Katie and sees how attached she's become to this doll. And she even tells Gemma, I don't think this is a good idea, actually, because she's forming this bond and that's dangerous. who knows what's going to happen with this AI thing that you don't even understand. And suddenly there's only one character and she's sort of unable to actually do anything.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Like, there is such a trope, isn't there, of the horrible social services character as well. Yeah.
They're trying to do the right thing.
Yeah.
It's like, actually not putting her with Alison is probably a good idea.
As it turns out, by the end of the movie, I would say that's definitely the case. Yeah. It's so interesting. And again, I kind of like that. It's like what you said at the beginning, like, this isn't necessarily a great horror film, but it is actually really well thought out in terms of a sort of drama/satire, I think. You know?
Yeah, definitely. It has so many good story beats and moments, and the narrative works really well. Yeah. That relationship, Gemma and Katie, I think I might have called her Alison a minute ago. Gemma and Katie is the core of this film. Yeah. And I would, like I was saying, I'd love to have seen a full drama about that and how Katie forms this attachment bond to something that doesn't understand.
Unhealthy. Yeah,
it's unhealthy, is overly intelligent, but has, like you say with the whole Hitler thing, it's got no idea when's going too far. Like, it's just like she goes so far to act on this protection. It's like, actually, you know, I will kill, again, it's so similar to Child's Play.
Yeah.
I will kill everyone else as long as you survive.
Absolutely. And actually, the thing about M3GAN is, again, you know, when you think about how awful these adults are in Katie's life, it's like, well, M3GAN actually is the only one thinking of her through quite a lot of this film. And you're right, and the social worker who only gets like 2 scenes. But M3GAN actually, to her defense, you know, is actually trying to... She's the only character thinking of Katie and Katie's well-being through quite a lot of the movie, you know?
Yeah, and it might be going about it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And I've noticed we're referring to M3GAN as a she, but...
Well, that's true.
It is just a doll, a robot.
Right, well, let's talk about M3GAN. What do you think of the look, the design of this particular creepy doll?
It's creepy.
It's creepy, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
I think it is really well put together. Like, initially I thought that the face of the doll was just like shit CGI.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't look real, but then it's not supposed to look real. We know it's a doll. We know it's meant to be uncanny. And she sort of looks, moves and acts and speaks like a human.
Yeah.
But because something slightly off about her face isn't quite right, it really, puts you on edge. I think that part of the design is actually really well done. And of course,
so good.
Making her look like a young girl is perfect for Katie, is obviously perfect for the market. Interesting that there was no talk of a boy version anywhere. But yeah, I think it's really well designed, and you couldn't do those viral videos if your main character wasn't well designed.
I think that's right. I think that is the part of it, right? Is that, like, traditionally creepy dolls have looked, you know, Victorian. They look like Annabelle most of the time, right?
Ancient.
They have like old style clothing and hair, and or they look like something that is almost just a little bit out of time, like Chucky. But this is so... M3GAN is designed to look like a kind of pop princess from 2022, right? Like, you know, she looks like she could have her own TikTok channel or something, right? In terms of the style and the voice and the things she says.
For sure. She's, like you said earlier, she's full of pop culture stuff.
When she starts singing Titanium and stuff, it's so funny.
That is so good.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, like very, very overtly, like... pop culture savvy, very sassy as well.
But like, that's what I love about M3GAN, and also think is just ludicrous, which again is the point of the sort of point of the design of the film, is that she is quippy and sassy, but where does that come from? Because that part of her character has got nothing to do with protection.
No.
Like, none of it. And maybe that's coming from, I don't know, trawling the internet and finding sassy videos of kids online. I don't know.
Well, I think so. I'm assuming, and again, it's so funny how much it glosses over the fact that Gemma seems to put this together in no time. I mean, I know she's been secretly working on it for a while, but then it's just like suddenly ready to go. And But like, I'm assuming the fact that it is a marketed toy for young girls, that Gemma has designed her to kind of, it's almost like they've data scraped
specific
algorithms from a young girl's social media feed, right? That's what it feels like. So it's like anything from like makeup tips to pop music to like anything that might appeal to a girl of that age. It feels like this generative AI has kind of fed off, I suppose, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's so true. Although, like I said before, does Katie notice that sass? I don't know.
I know.
But,
well, actually, and she's not. She's more sassy to the adults, isn't she? That's the thing, and that's.
But that's it. Yeah, that is it. And then I guess Katie gets a little bit like that as the film goes on, and she becomes more like M3GAN. I love, and this is the voice performance specifically, but I love how everything that M3GAN says, especially to Karen and the adults, is said in a friendly way, but there's always a hint of malice behind it, even from the start.
Yeah.
You know, and then the sass kind of leans towards a psycho aspect of it. But everything she says doesn't feel like she means it. Like,
absolutely, she's like a mean girl. She's like Regina George, right? Like, again, this is what's made her a bit of a camp icon, I think, right? Because you're right, everything feels like it's got a little like nasty sting in it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Have I done something to upset you, Gemma? It's like, I know I have. Like,
and vaguely threatening as well. It's like, you'll know when I've done something to upset you.
I think Karen says, "Did you hurt someone, M3GAN?" And she just goes, "God, I hope not. Or we'd both be in a lot of trouble."
Yeah, it's good.
She's nailed you.
It is really good. And again, that sass doubles in the next movie, doesn't it? You know, hilarious, absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I think the whole thing is really impressive. I would say in terms of the design. Again, maybe not necessarily for a horror film, but in terms of the story they're telling, the design is perfect, I think. Like, the way it looks, the way it dresses. And they use a really interesting mix of, you know, there was an animatronic puppet that was being controlled particularly for dialogue and close-up scenes. Sometimes when it was moving or the fight scenes or the dancing, there was actually a stunt version. There was a human being doing that stuff, right? And then other times they use a bit of CGI as well, but they use lots of different techniques. I think that kind of adds to the uncanniness of it, because it's never just one thing, depending on how we're seeing M3GAN, you know?
Yeah, and that's quite incredible that they use so many different techniques and it still feels like the same character.
Yeah.
Like, at no point am I like, well, that M3GAN is a person and that M3GAN is a robot and that.
Exactly.
Like, never. And like, she feels like it feels like a one thing. It never feels like multiple things have gone into making her. Yeah, it's really well done.
Totally. So we had a young girl, Amy Donald, who was the kind of stunt body version of M3GAN. Okay. And then Jenna Davis was the voice of M3GAN. And she's super young. Like, she was born in 2004. So she was, 18? So you got an 18-year-old girl voicing M3GAN, you know, which again, I think there's that very deliberate, like, teenage sass to M3GAN, isn't there?
Yeah, it's such a good counter to Chucky. Like, in the Child's Play we just talked about, for some reason a young person's boy doll sounds like Mark Hamill.
Sounds like a 60-year-old man.
So stylistically it makes sense for her to be a young girl, so that's good. And I heard an interview with this Jenna Davis where she was like, I just tried to sound like a bit of a weird young girl. I was like, not a robot. Like, and I think that's the key of the performance. Is like she feels like a real kid a lot of the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it goes back to our conversation at the very beginning about AI, and AI is in itself uncanny, isn't it? Because it is increasingly, you know, behaving and sounding more and more human the more advanced it gets, but there is also something that is very much not human about it. And again, M3GAN, even from 2022, is quite ahead of the curve in that regard, because AI wasn't what it is now, even in 2022 when this movie came out.
No, it really is prescient. But I also think, like, there's a moment at the end where M3GAN is unmasked, I suppose. Like, her face comes off.
Yes.
And immediately it's like, oh, it's just a robot.
I know.
Like, imagine. So a lot of AI that we interact with now is done via screens.
Yeah.
So it could be anyone on the other end. Mm-hmm. In order to make someone or something that is a physical caregiver, you have to give it a human form. Otherwise, I'm guessing, we haven't probably not enough research done about it yet, but if you just put that weird under exoskeleton thing in front of Katie, she's not going to...
Absolutely.
She's just not going to respond to it. She's not going to want to open up to it. She's not going to get through her grief. She's not going to get attached to it. So the design of the doll within the film and the design of the doll for the film, which is basically the same thing, is just so crucial. And it's brilliantly done, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? And it goes back to, again, to our conversation at the beginning about, and toys have always historically been very gendered too, right? You know, you get the toys for boys and toys for girls, and the girls, I remember as a kid when I was growing up in the 90s, the toys that were marketed at girls often were much more human than, so boys would have like robots and action men and stuff, or got monsters or mutants or something.
Yeah.
Girls would have like young baby girls that they had to look after and change and feed.
Yeah,
and
that's so gendered, isn't it? Just like, well, women are, and it's inherent that they will be mothers.
Yeah, exactly. Horrific. And obviously this isn't that. Instead, it's much more, she's a big sister, isn't she, really, M3GAN? And also, she's fucking massive, isn't she? That's the other thing that's really funny. Like, this isn't a doll that's like Chucky size. No. She's like the size of a teenage girl, almost. This doll is hilarious.
And it works well. It does work well for the horror. Like, those moments where she just suddenly appears silently in the corner of the room. But if she was a toy, you've got the cameras the characters might not notice her, or the film has to do something to highlight she's there. But no, she's just creepily standing right behind you, or she's creepily in the corner of the room. Her size plays such a huge part in it.
Yeah.
Like, if she was Chucky's size, the dance would be nothing. If she was Chucky's size, she's not holding a guillotine.
Exactly. Yeah, you're right. And and again, this is the difference. This isn't a doll like we've seen in other doll movies where it's like you can buy this for $30 in the supermarket. This is going to be selling, I think they say like $10,000 a unit or something, right? It's like this is actually a like high-end piece of extremely smart tech. This is like buying a Tesla rather than buying a toy, right?
Yeah. So she should be bang on what she needs to be.
Yeah.
And not rushed into production.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
And then so finally let's just mention the horror. And we've already said it is a bit toothless in a way. There are a couple of scenes that are quite effective, even though they're not that gory. Like, I think the scene, the stuff with the next door neighbor and the dog next door is quite good.
Yes.
There's the scene when the really horrible bully kid is giving Katie a hard time at whatever it is, summer camp or something. And then M3GAN pushes him into a road essentially, and he gets run over. Right, that's quite. a good scene. These
are both great scenes, and I think maybe because the dog is just a real thing, and I don't like dogs.
That is a scary dog.
It's not that I. Yeah, exactly. I think. There doesn't need to be any blood. Is there any blood in this film, really? I don't
Barely
know.
any. I can't think. When she kills the guy with the big blade when she's dancing, like coming down the corridor, do we see much of that? No, you sort of, it's just framed out. Like, David gets it through his stomach, I think, and it's just off screen. And then the guy in the lift, the intern that's going to betray the ball, that guy. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, because they definitely planned that for the sequel.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
No, I don't think you do, because I did watch the unrated cut or whatever it is, and you see a lot more blood then.
Okay, there you go.
But yeah, I think the dog scene is gnarly, and the Brandon, this kid at the outdoor school thing, he is a little knobhead.
Well, this is it. Yeah. Again, you're watching. Basically, most of the characters get what's coming to them, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. It's these horrible tech bros. It's the horrible, vicious dog. It's the bully kid. Again, there is this element of, retribution for these characters,
and It's well done. She pulls off his ear. She has a good quip. And, deliberately making someone fall in front of a car is
it's good.
nasty. I suppose one of the things about Megan's design is she's designed to look like a girl, but she can gallop like a horse.
Yeah, that is so weird, that moment.
That's well creepy that suddenly she's on all fours. Just like, like some sort of exorcist scene.
Yeah. And again, I like the journey that Katie goes on parallel to Megan, right, as well, that Katie becomes... I mean, she's just very unwell, this poor little girl, isn't she, as well? And this is, again, where the kind of the more serious and the more pathos stuff is in her character, where it's like this poor girl has lost her parents, she's being ignored by her aunt, she's got this one friend that is a robot, and then the robot gets threatened to sort of be taken away from her, and she becomes violent herself at that point, right?
She does not like that. Like, that is so... It's exactly what the social services woman warned about. Like, she's going to get attached. And now, because you're still seeing it as a toy and not as what you're trying to sell it as, Katie's like stuck in this horrible limbo where she's like, but actually I need the doll to keep me going. Yeah. And you're taking it away. And now, stroppy kids and stroppy teenagers are bad enough anyway, but if you take away their toys, that's not good. If you take away their toys actually forming a real emotional attachment to, it's not good. And so poor Katie, she just sort of gets the worst of everything. Yeah,
I know. And again, like you said, there's a really good character drama actually at the centre of this, I think, more than there is horror. Yeah. But we do have lots of fun horror. We get the iconic and of course silliness, the iconic viral dance scene. What do you think of that scene? Like, again, I remember thinking, oh wow, this movie is not interested in being a horror film, especially when you get to that scene. You're like, wow, it is just being a campy comedy at this point.
And I think I actually would have preferred more of it. Make that a full 5-minute scene of her dancing down the corridor. It's for me, because it got sold on this dance. I was like, but it only lasts for 15 seconds or something. And they're cool moves, and obviously a human can do them. I'm doing one of them right now, but it's not interested in being a horror film. That's great, but lean into it more. I don't know. When you sell something,
which M3GAN 2.0 did, right? I mean, it did do that. Actually,
it did.
But I know what you mean. In some ways, that at least then you know what you're getting with a movie like that, don't you? You know,
the dancing is great. The quipping is great. She's a great villain. She's not Freddy Krueger, though.
She's not Freddy Krueger. She's not even Mark Hamill's Chucky, I would say. No. I like the final moments, though. The final act, the kind of final showdown in the house when the lights are out and Megan is then attacking them and everything. Like, I think that stuff's quite good. You know, that stuff is where it leans a little bit more into horror at the very end. You know,
it feels like a full-on slasher. She's coming for you now.
Yeah, exactly.
She's taken out the tech bros. Yeah, the launch doesn't happen, which is interesting because that's where the Chucky film ends.
Yes.
But she's like, I'm coming for you, and she gets to the house, and that whole scene in the workshop is so good. Like,
it's great.
I think they all show how good they are at the kind of action as well as the drama. Even little Violet McGraw, like. I remember being surprised the first time when she puts on those gloves and brings Bruce into it. It's like,
yes,
that's so good. And the only way to really, and I was going to say the only way to really defeat M3GAN is with another robot. But we were just saying about Chucky that actually required more of a human.
Well, I guess it's more brawn than brains, isn't it? Ultimately, I suppose that's what it is. It's more like something a bit more primal and physical and visceral rather than using brains. Yeah.
True. Yeah. And Bruce really has the heft.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it's great. Like, I did think when Karen pulls down the shelving unit, I was like, that is the most ineffective use of a shelving unit I've ever seen. That's not stopping M3GAN in any way. No. You're about 30 seconds ahead of her, and she's a tiny little doll. She'll be okay.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. It was good, sort of crunchy action.
So good.
And I liked it a lot. And And it helped you get to that point where Karen can see what she's done, what she's created, the killing machine she's created, and Katie's reaction to it. And it's not often that with one of these kind of end of movie giant showdowns that the drama feeds into this kind of narrative and story of the characters. But here it really does. And I think you come out of that scene thinking, yeah, okay, I think Karen might see the error of her ways here.
Gemma, do you mean?
Oh, sorry. Who's Karen?
Is Karen
the mum from Chucky?
Is there another character called Karen in this film? I can't remember. Anyway, who knows?
Too many. I think it's the mum from Child's Play.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But I do mean Gemma.
Yeah.
I think Gemma sees the error of her ways, and it all kind of wraps up quite nicely, actually.
It does. And again, with that little sting of like Gemma's kind of smart home system turning itself on at the end there as well, And again, like, it's the other fun thing about these movies, these more modern kind of killer tech movies, is that they do link very overtly to what the sort of tech we all have in our homes now. Like, for people that have like an Alexa listening to you, even saying that on the podcast is probably not good for people who are listening to this through a speaker.
No, about 100 phones have just lit up in the corner of people's rooms.
Exactly. But again, that idea of smart home systems and what they could do to you if you lost control of them is fun for horror, isn't it? I think
it is fun. And, this film does make fun of it too. Like, she has her own... Gemma, she has her own little, was it Elsie in the corner of the house, like, who accidentally tells her how many Tinder notifications she's got and things like that. Like, just the little fun remarks. They're all good. We like that. But yeah, we're not allowed a Google Dot in our house.
Oh, I don't want one in my house either, to be honest. Nah, I'm happy without, to be honest. I don't think I need like what feels like an open microphone on at all times in the corner of the room.
So true. Yeah, unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
It is a bit unnecessary. So there you go. I mean, the film, obviously, as we've alluded to, was a fucking huge success. It had a little Blumhouse budget of $12 million and it made over $180 million.
That is incredible.
Yeah, I know. So good for them. And to be fair to it, it's almost the opposite to Child's Play, isn't it? Where we said Child's Play, there's not much more to it other than being a really solid horror movie. And it is a really solid, like, slashery, gory, gnarly, nasty little horror movie. This movie, not so good as a horror movie, but actually really interesting in loads of other ways, I think, probably.
Yeah, for sure. It's dealing with interesting stuff, and that is engaging.
Yeah.
And that is why I enjoyed it a second time round. So again, as long as you know what it is, it can be a fun ride.
Yeah, definitely. So there you go. Oh, I mean, what a fun pair of movies to discuss, Rob. Thank you for this.
Oh, so good. Thanks for having me to do it.
I've loved it. And I've got to ask you to finish. What is your favourite movie in this whole kind of subgenre? Do you have a favourite kind of mad science or man-made monsters movie?
Yes. Yeah, you've not included it in this series, but I'm sure people have mentioned The Fly.
Yeah, I mean...
Am I allowed to say The Fly?
Of course.
It would probably be my answer for most things.
I mean, it's a perfect movie, isn't it? It's only because I covered it in a body horror series. We had already done it. But absolutely, it fits the bill for this series, and it's perfect.
But if I was going to choose one from this series, it's got to be Jurassic Park. A big, old adventure movie with some terrifying scenes. And you've quoted it in every episode so far.
Maybe the quintessential movie of the series, I would say. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, so
amazing.
Good.
Well, Rob, thank you. Until next time, let people know where they can find you and any of your stuff online.
Yeah, sure. Instagram, RobWatts88. I'm still going with my Icelandic film podcast, Kvikmyndapod.
Amazing.
That is KVIKMYNDAPOD. We just dropped an episode last week, actually, on a new film called The Love That Remains, which is out in cinemas in the UK, which is exciting because that very rarely happens. Mm-hmm. So we can be found on Instagram and Blue Sky at KVIKMYNDAPOD.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, and Letterboxd.
And Letterboxd, of course.
RobWatts88, obviously.
Amazing. Rob, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week. Thank you all for listening. A big thank you one more time to my brilliant guest, Rob Watts. I really enjoyed discussing that pair of movies. Really fun, really silly, very enjoyable. I hope you enjoyed listening to our chat. Let me know what you thought of this week's films. You can email me, evolutionofhorror@gmail.com. The Evolution of Horror can also be found on Instagram and Facebook. And I, Mike Muncer, can be found on Instagram and Blue Sky. If you want to get ad-free versions of this podcast and get weekly bonus episodes, sign up to our Patreon, patreon.com/evolutionofhorror. This podcast is part of the EOH network. You can also listen to our 2 weekly sister podcasts, Hammer Time, a Hammer Horror podcast, and Carry On Up the podcast. Both are available wherever you get your podcasts. So, on to next week then, and as we hurtle towards the end of the series, we've still got a couple more gems to discuss, and I'm really excited for next week's double bill. Next week, Jen Handorf is going to be joining me to discuss 2 Lee Whannell tech horror movies, Upgrade from 2018 and The Invisible Man from 2020. Join us next week for all of this and more on the Evolution of Horror.